Before I watched this movie, I was wondering who is this movie for? And after watching it, I have the same question. Hello, and welcome to Just My Thoughts. I'm your host, Khaleel Ward. And on this episode, I'll be talking about Altered Carbon Resleeved. It's an animated movie. I It's not set in this. It's in the same universe, but not in the same universe as Altered Carbon, the TV show. It does follow Takeshi Kovacs. He comes back in a new sleeve, just like in the show. And like I said in the intro, I was wondering, like, is this a continuation, like at the end of season one, and shows you some things that happen? Is this something like a prologue before you watch season one? And they just felt like making a movie, honestly, because it was a lot of time passed between season one and season two that recently came out, and I did review season two. That'll be up there. But this movie, and it's an animated movie, so it can be a little bit more graphic, and it's a short story, hour and a half or whatever. But it's not really a prologue, and it's not really something. It doesn't like say, "Oh, this takes place at such and such a time." Uh, Takashi Kovacs, again, the main person in the TV series, he is brought back, hired by Meth, who is a rich person who has multiple sleeves, which are bodies, and they can live for a long time. And it doesn't give you. It's like it's not detailed enough to be something you dive into before you watch season one, because it doesn't really. It gives you a little background in the beginning, like a voiceover, but it doesn't like dive into what sleeves are and stacks are. It doesn't dive into it like season one of the show. And then it doesn't give you any more backstory about Takashi Kovacs in terms of him being an envoy and the things he had to go through. So it's just an animated movie that they just wanted to put out. And I don't understand why they put it out like when season two was being released. They should have definitely put it out as a stopgap between season one and season two. That would have probably been the best place for it. But Kovacs, he's hired. He has to watch this tattoo artist, this young girl, and she works for like this yakuza gang. And honestly, the first half of the movie is pretty boring and not interesting. I don't really care about the girl that he's watching. The action scenes are pretty cool in the beginning. He fights. He's an envoy. He's pretty talented in terms of fighting. Although they don't really go into depth of what an envoy is and the kind of abilities he has. I wasn't a big fan of the animation style, but like halfway through the movie, you get information about why the tattoo artist is important and what her job is for this particular gang, and you get some insight into another character that Kovacs comes across, and then it gets a little bit more interesting. I sat up a little bit. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, and of course the fights really good. And the bad guys, like the henchmen, were these ninjas, and the ninjas were really good. They were the type of bad guys that they don't say much. They don't say anything. And when they're on screen, they're gonna hurt someone. Even the main, protagonist is gonna get hurt a little bit fighting one of these ninjas. And they were really cool using their smoke and all these different gadgets they were using. Yeah, they got beat up because they're the henchmen, but they were really cool. And whenever they were on screen, I was like, okay, it's gonna be a cool fight. And it was always a cool fight. So the movie has really good fights, but it doesn't give you a lot of information about Altered Carbon, it can be a very confusing show. So I suggest you watch season one to get an understanding of everything that's going on. And then I don't know if I would recommend watching Resleeved. If you just want some action on in the background, again, cool fight scenes, then you can check it out. But it's not something you must rush out and see. Watch Altered Carbon season one. I believe season one is much better than season two because season two didn't really go anywhere for me. But that's just my opinion. But if you watch Altered Carbon Resleeve, did you enjoy it? Did you like the animation style? What would you like to see done with this character, Takeshi Kovacs? Because it seems like he has a crazy history, but we only get bits and pieces of it in the show, and we don't really go anywhere in this movie. But that's just my thoughts. Stay safe out there. Call your family, hug your family, stay quarantined, all that good stuff. And if you have recommendations, let me know. Thank you for listening. Deuces.